This is Sunny Fonseca with Mortgages with Sunny. Welcome to my new podcast. On this podcast, we'll be discussing a little bit about everyday scenarios that do occur during a loan process, connecting with realtors to expand their business, and also giving you some scenarios and tips on purchasing a home. It is under the impression that JP Morgan Chase has stated that we may be 60% into a recession. What is your say on that? What is your advice for buyers or your sellers with this whole assumption and the fear that's going on an average American family?
Yeah, so I think part of it goes to what do rich people do, right? You know, the middle class, me and you, we should probably look at what rich people are doing and try to imitate that. So typically what happens in these situations, stock market goes down, and money gets moved, right? Rich people don't let their money sit. Money is there to make more money, right? So they take their money out of stocks and put it in real estate, because over the long term, real estate's not nearly as volatile, right? It continues to grow in equity over time. Personally, right now in this particular market that we're in right now, the last 11 buyers that I've worked with have all moved in with equity. That means that their properties have either appraised over what we are under contract for, or in a lot of cases, they're under contract for less than what the property appraised for, and I was able to negotiate a credit. So there's a ton of inventory right now. Sellers really want to move and they want to get their properties off the market, which creates a really, really great environment for buyers to be able to negotiate if they have the right person that's willing to put in the work and make sure that they get the best deal.
What is your advice on some people that have a fear to say, hey, I may lose my job, or I don't know if I want to get into this because I fear that I may lose my job.
Yeah.
I'll worry about it when the time comes. What is your advice on that?
That's real. You know, everybody's individual circumstances are different. You really have to spend the time to see what's really at risk. Do you have a plan B? Have you done the work necessary where if, God forbid, something happens with your current employment, do you have a plan B ready, willing, and able? But the market is the market, right? Like these opportunities, because right now I just bought, so I'm not blowing smoke, guys. I personally just bought. I'm moving tomorrow out of all days, right? So I'm not saying this because I don't believe it. I'm saying this because I 100% believe that this is a great time to buy. I did it for my family, and I'm looking now for an investment property ASAP, because I do believe that the market right now does lend itself specifically to buyers because of the amount of inventory that is out there, and the fact that folks now might be wanting to cash out to buy something else. So it does give you an opportunity to get a really, really good deal at this time.
Yeah, definitely. And I think even with the rates still being so high, actually they've gone down. They've actually been stable a little bit more. But even then, if you have equity on your property, go ahead and cash out on it and start buying something else right now. And also give yourself some wiggle room. Cash out on that equity to give yourself wiggle room just in case you have a fear of losing your job, or just in case, it's on a rainy day. So I think definitely right now, I think we have to move against the crowd and take advantage of that. There's that saying, how richer get always richer, right? Yeah. So that's very important. Are you getting a lot of, what are you seeing now mostly with your clientele? Do you have more sellers or buyers at the moment?
Right now, it's pretty even for me personally.
Yeah.
I do have a decent amount of listings that are out there. I'm actually from here. I'm going to a showing, so for one of my listings. But I do have a decent amount of buyers. The buyers that I am working with right now, it's been really fun because we have the opportunity to see what the properties are listed at, and I get to look and see all the competition that's out there and use that to our advantage as we negotiate for a better price. About, I don't know, let's say a year ago, that wasn't the case, right? Like a year ago, it was kind of like, hey guys, they're asking this. You might have to go 10K above. You might have to waive an appraisal here or there, whatever the case might be. But that's not the case right now. Right now, sellers really need to consider lowering prices, offering credits, things of that nature, if they're serious about selling their properties.
Yeah. I remember they were placing offers, waiving the appraisal.
Yeah.
And the sellers had an issue if they didn't waive the appraisal.
100%.
People were paying $50,000, $60,000, $75,000 over asking.
Yeah, but you had multiple offer situations left and right. Like almost every property had 3, 4, 5 different contracts that they had to choose from. So now a good agent is now turning those offers against each other to try to create a bidding war.
Well, not only that, is inventory was so low.
Correct.
Inventory.
They were
And
the
right
only show
now-
in town.
Right.
Yeah.
And are you seeing that? Are you seeing a lot of
No.
inventory
there's
now?
There's a significant increase in inventory. Every morning I check to see what's been listed in the last 7 days. And just this morning it was 4,224 homes have been listed
much?
in the 4,224 homes.
And that's between South Florida and Broward?
That's on the MLS. So
Oh,
yeah,
gotcha.
it's throughout the MLS. So typically when I see that number above 4,000, that's pretty high. And we haven't even hit the real spring selling season. That's
Yeah.
coming up starting, May typically is when it gets real hot.
Okay.
May, June, July, August.
Summertime.
Those are the really, really hot months for real estate. And we're already seeing an influx of inventory. And this is not like the first time I see over 4,000 when I check every morning. It's pretty consistent.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
been,
And you're seeing it go up?
Yes.
And you check it
absolutely.
every day?
I check it every day. That's the first thing I do in
I
the
know.
morning.
And also, too, even though there is a lot more inventory, there's not much variety, right? And what I mean by that is that for a first-time buyer, it's not going to be unicorns and rainbows. You're going to have to put some work into these properties,
Yeah.
And even then, they're still kind of at a price point where it's like, wait a second, do I want to make this move? Do I not want to make this move? But it's not going to get down. It's not going to get not even better, but it's not going to go down. The house prices are not going down. They've stabilized.
Yeah.
Because people are not placing offers, because
Correct.
right now, like you said, there's a lot more inventory and room for negotiation.
Yeah.
So definitely I agree with you with coming to now. Did you say that now is the time to buy?
If I did it, then obviously I think it is the time to buy. I think there's also room to think about what's on the horizon, right? So all indications, and you're going to be the expert on this one, point to rates coming down
Yeah.
in the coming months. And then little birdie told me, right, there's a rumor about
Yeah.
this Hometown Heroes getting funded again and coming back, which is going to bring a whole lot more buyers into the game, which is going to create for between rates and Hometown Heroes providing that extra money, it's going to create a lot more buyers and a lot more competition.
So right now, as you're saying this, it just came into my head. Do you see how they are aware of what's about to happen?
100%.
So what's about to happen, right? July is under the impression that the Hometown Heroes program is coming out. That is when we are anticipated to see this market, right? And what I mean by that is what's going to happen is that the stock market is going to plummet, right? And when that happens is all these investors are going to take their money from the stock market and get into housing, single families, multi-family units, right? Because they are aware that the renters are going to go high and our market's about to go, the house prices are probably going to go higher, right? So right now, it's always good to go against the crowd. Buy now. Because for example, lenders are already aware, hey, let's bring out this Hometown Heroes program, because what's about to happen is this is one way to get people to buy when the stock market, when the housing prices go up again, which is going to happen.
Yeah.
So right now what happens is when the stock market does plummet, these investors are going to come in, and we're talking about big investors. We're talking about JP Morgan Chase, we're talking about Lennar, all these other people who are going to go ahead and buy multifamily units to get it ready for renters, because
100%.
now they are going to say, well, wait a second, the house prices are going up. What are people going to do? Well, I'm going to rent right now.
Yeah.
Hello, it creates like to put us more like the average American family to wanting to be a homeowner. It puts them more at doubt. Like, no, take that risk and secure your asset right now, because eventually that asset is going to go ahead and make you money, whether you rent it out or it builds equity on that property.
Yeah.
interest rates are going to go ahead and go down to kind of stabilize and make home buyers to go ahead and buy. But at that point, what's going to happen? The house prices are so high up, and sellers are not going to be willing to put their house for sale because their fear for the seesaw of the recession or the economy.
Yeah.
So it's so important. Like, I think it's so important that we have to get out to the consumer to educate them. Well, rates are high, or rates are, yeah. Well, they're going to get high right now. They're still high. You know, according to.
I was gonna say they're really not though, guys.
No,
Like,
they're
like
not.
if you look at
You're
the
right.
50-year average for mortgages in this country,
Yeah.
it's over 7%.
Yeah.
Like that's the average.
Yeah.
So I know that we're all stuck on this 2020 thing, right? Like that's not happening again.
Thank you.
It's not like COVID.
No. Yeah.
It happened once, guys. It's not
Yeah.
happening again.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
we're not gonna see sub 3 interest rates. If you are waiting for sub 3 interest rates, I hope you enjoy paying someone else's mortgage.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's not gonna
Yeah.
happen because so you got to be smart with it. My
Sorry,
goal
you gotta fix
was
my shirt.
my goal with this was to
Sorry.
when I purchased, I fully expect interest rates to come down. You did my loan, right? We
Yes.
talked about this. The
Thank you.
idea was let's buy now. And then when interest rates come down, they are not going to be sub 3, but they are going to come down. Then I refinance. Now I've gotten in at the price point I wanted to be at, and now I can lower my monthly.
Yeah.
And so it's the best of both worlds.